Russell, are you online?
I am indeed. Hello.
Hello, how are you, my friend?
Very well, thank you.
The stage is yours.
Thank you. So we know that well-managed urban areas can support rich biodiversity, and yet urbanization remains the third most frequently cited threat to species on the IUCN Red List. We know that exposure to nature can render amazing physical and mental health benefits and inspire care for the natural world. Yet prevailing patterns of urbanization typically weaken human-nature connections and exacerbate social inequities. We know that green and blue infrastructure can enhance the livability and resilience of cities. Yet most urban systems remain heavily exposed to climate and disaster risks. We know that cities can be drivers of innovation and economic prosperity, yet they can also be drivers of environmental destruction with ecological footprints that can be orders of magnitude larger than their physical urban area. The evolution of cities will largely determine the fate of our planet. Next slide, please. That is why some years ago, IUCN established the Urban Alliance, a broad coalition of IUCN constituents concerned with urban dimensions of nature conservation. And that is why we have set about developing this new knowledge product, the Urban Nature Index. It's a product to measure the ecological performance of cities. There's an old saying that what gets measured gets done. So measure we must. Or as Andre Hoffman rightly said, we must change the way we measure success. Next slide, please. The Urban Nature Index has been financed to date by Arcadia, a charitable fund of Lisbeth Rousing and Peter Baldwin. And it was not born in a vacuum, but rather developed in consultation with some 30 cities around the world. 6 of those cities went so far as to pilot the Urban Nature Index, delivering amazing feedback along the way. I should pay tribute to them: Curitiba, Lagos, Mexico City, Paris, Singapore, and Saanich. And we also received dedicated support from a team of consultants in Urban Biodiversity Hub. Next slide, please. The index can be differentiated from other urban sustainability frameworks by its unique framing and scope. So recognizing the dynamism and complexity of urban systems, we have used the driver pressure state impact response framework to identify and address root causes of ecological problems. Recognizing the ecological impacts of cities extend far beyond their boundaries, the scope is intentionally broad, encompassing urban, bioregional, and global or telecoupled spheres of impact. Next slide, please. So here it is. At least this is a very crude summary. As you can see, there are some 30 indicator topics nested across 6 themes, which basically reflect the DPSIR framework I just mentioned. And for each indicator topic, we offer 1 or more recommended indicators with calculation methodologies and suggested data sources to cater to varying degrees of capacity residing in local governments. Next slide, please. The scoring system is very, very simple. Essentially, we're just looking for trends over time. And we recommend that this index be implemented by cities at a cadence of perhaps once every 2 to 3 years. Next slide, please. At the recent IUCN World Conservation Congress in Marseille, our 1,400 members adopted the Marseille Manifesto, the key outcome document. This comprises an important urban commitment to enhance access to green space and biodiversity in 100 cities comprising 100 million people by 2025, and to measure progress using the Urban Nature Index. So we clearly have our work cut out. Next slide, please. And these are some of the next steps that we envisage in the near future. I won't go through each of these, but certainly we want to create a digital home, perhaps as part of the IUCN Contributions for Nature platform, a much broader digital platform that's in the pipeline. We want to build capacity in local governments and assist them in undertaking baseline assessments. We want to gather and share their experiences, perhaps through platforms such as Panorama Solutions. And I want to stress that this tool is not set in stone. It's a work in progress. It will continuously evolve in light of feedback received from the implementing cities. Next slide, please. So if this excites you as much as it excites me, And if you are interested to join us on this journey, then please do not hesitate to get in touch. We would be very glad to chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rosa.